If you've been trying to start a meditation habit, but you've found it to be very difficult for a variety of reasons, I want to make it easier for you. So today in this video, we're going to be covering 5 tips that are going to make meditation a whole lot easier. So tip number 1 is something that was taught to me when I got my official instruction in meditation from this Buddhist monk in California. And he was saying about how the body can be uncomfortable if you're sitting in the same position for too long. And he recommended that if you are sitting in the same position for too long, you found your back is getting sore, or maybe your shoulders are getting a little bit too tight, it is okay to switch positions in the middle of meditation. In fact, one of the positions he recommended is by having your knees in front of you with your feet flat on the ground, just sort of hugging your knees lightly instead of being in a half lotus or full lotus posture. It just gives your back a little bit of a break, and it's something that I do on a fairly frequent basis just because sometimes my back can get a little bit sore. So tip number 2 is something that really helps if you find that it's difficult to keep your mind focused on the feeling of breathing, which is really the point of a mindfulness meditation, to stay focused in the moment, stay focused on that feeling of breathing, but you might notice that your mind wanders all the time very quickly. If that happens, you might want to check out some of these mala beads. Now, mala beads are just a way to keep track of the number of breaths that you are counting. So what you can do is each time you inhale, or you can choose each time you exhale, you can just move on to the next bead. And once you get to make a full resolution or full revolution of those beads, then you can just start again. Although I found that the way that I breathe, it usually takes me about 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes to make a full revolution out of these 108 beads on my particular mala necklace. So if you found your mind a little bit too distracted, try out these mala beads. They're really cheap. They only cost maybe $12-15 if you buy them on Amazon, and it makes you feel like a fancy meditator. At least I think so. This third tip is all about if you get too sleepy or tired when you're meditating. I found that if I keep my eyes all the way closed when I meditate, then I will have a tendency to get very, very sleepy. Not only that, my mind will be absorbed in whatever it is my thoughts are thinking about in that moment. I recommend that you don't keep your eyes fully open or fully closed, but instead sort of half open. And kind of looking at the ground. The instruction that I received was to be facing a wall, maybe 3 feet from a wall or so, and then be looking at a spot on the ground 6 feet in front of you. But if there's a wall 3 feet in front of you, obviously you can't see through the wall, but that will allow your eyes to gently unfocus, and while at the same time keeping them sort of half open, so you're going to be more awake, more aware, and in general I find this a better way to meditate rather than eyes being all the way closed. Now this is a tip I've never heard anywhere else, and it's a little counterintuitive as well, but I think that you'll enjoy it. If you're ever in a meditation session and maybe you're halfway through it and you just can't get your mind to focus on the breath, you are maybe only able to focus for 1 or 2 inhalations or exhalations, and then you find your mind wandering again and again. This can be very frustrating. And so the method that I've used to help reset myself is to actually hold your breath for a little while. Because I was thinking, when is the time that you are most likely to be focused on the feeling of breathing? And in my head, that was when you're drowning or when you can't breathe. And so sometimes when I'm meditating, I will just simply hold my breath for 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, until you kind of get a little bit of that stress involved. And then I will exhale and start to breathe normally again. A lot of times this will reset my focus and allow me to really focus on the feeling of breathing for a little while. So I recommend trying that trick if you ever get frustrated maybe halfway through your meditation session. And this last tip is probably one of the hardest and easiest ones to implement. It makes your meditation so much easier, and that is commit to meditating every day. I know that's very hard, and sometimes you might be thinking that's putting the cart before the horse, but it's really not. If you commit to meditating every day, then it becomes a habit much more quickly, and it becomes something that you have a desire to do and want to do. And if you make that commitment to meditate every day, know that you don't have to put any sort of judgment on the quality of those meditation sessions. Some days you're going to be killing it in meditation, you're going to feel like a Zen master. Other days you're going to think, wow, I don't know how to meditate at all. That is okay. That is all part of the process. And when you're meditating on a daily basis, it takes some of that pressure off of you when you do meditate, thinking, oh, this has to be a really great meditation session, that way I get my time's worth out of it. Instead, you think, well, if this one's not great, tomorrow's will probably be better. So those are my 5 tips when it comes to making meditation a little bit easier. If you have any tips that you want to share, please share them in the comments down below. That way we can all learn from each other. Maybe I can learn some cool tips too. All right, have a great rest of your day.